Good afternoon and welcome to our panel discussion. Today we're going to be debating whether or not welfare laws should be more strict.
Okay, so our topic is, should welfare laws be stricter? Welfare is like a financial aid program, and money is distributed to people that need or in help, like financially. It also helps people that like have kids or are in the process of looking for a job. There are 4.3 million Americans on welfare, and the government spends $131.9 billion a year on welfare. That's without food stamps. And what are our three main points we're going to be talking about? Welfare is greatly abused by the people. Welfare tempts people to be lazy, and the government overspends on welfare. And my partners are going to explain why welfare laws should be stricter.
Today, it is reported that 1 in 6 people are dependent on government programs since the recession in 2007. Since then, 7.2 million jobs have been lost, and there are 13.6 million single parents living with children in the U.S. today. The government has responded to the overwhelming number of families and individuals in need of help by creating a welfare program that gives assistance to those who have little or nothing. Welfare has been a controversial subject ever since it has begun. While some people abuse the aid, that is not the case for all. To many Americans, welfare has become a necessity and their only hope for survival. Most taxpayers feel as though they should not have to give up their hard-earned dollar for other people, which is understandable, but it was made for a reason, aims to ensure access to resources and reduce social suffering. Welfare not only helps people with their need for food or medical care, but it gets them up on their feet in a job. The basic criteria for the program is that the receivers of it get job training skills so that they may one day leave the program and be self-sufficient. Not only does welfare help people who are financially unstable, but it's made to help people with disabilities and single moms who need assistance taking care of their children. The programs offered by welfare are Medicaid, housing, temporary aid for needy families, benefits for working, and food stamps. Basically, we believe that welfare laws should not be stricter because it offers help to people who without it would be starving on the streets. We are one nation who should have no problem helping each other to stay alive and healthy. Welfare was made to benefit our country, and if it wasn't doing just that, the government would have done away with it.
Over the years, welfare has become more and more abused. There's an estimated 4,300,000 people on welfare, which is 4.1% of the U.S. population, not including food stamps. The country's unemployment rate is 7.6%. This means that over half the people that are unemployed are currently on welfare. Statistics show that there are 40 states where welfare pays more than $8 an hour, 7 states where welfare pays more than $12 an hour, and 9 states where welfare pays more than the average yearly salary of a teacher. This is someone who's gone to college and earned a degree and has worked to get where they are today to make what they do, who is being paid less than someone who is just sitting at home. Say one of you, like a student, got a job somewhere. Like, you'd probably be making around minimum wage, which is $7.25 an hour. While you're working all day, there's just someone that is sitting there at their house making more than you by a pretty decent amount, by $1 at least or more. Welfare spends $30.60 per hour, $168 per day for every household in poverty. Both of these are higher than the median income, which is the average income of like a regular person. It was recorded that the government spent approximately $1.03 trillion on welfare in 2011 alone. It was also recorded that the taxpayers in 2011 paid $745.84 billion towards welfare. The government needs to do a better job of budgeting the money they spend and how much they make the taxpayers pay. These are working people who have to pay for their families, their house, their food, and they're paying for people that are not producing for the country or making their own money in any way. When it comes to going back to unemployment, the definition of an unemployed person is someone who is looking for work but cannot find it. That's 7.6% that was brought up earlier. That is of those people. If you add the people who have are on welfare who have basically given up for working, that adds up to about 15% if you add on those people. It's very easy to tempt people to be lazy, because if someone told me right now that after I got out of school and got married and had children, that I would be given a house and given food without having to do anything for it, I would more than likely just quit trying to make exceptional grades, not focus on getting into a good school, and not try to get a great job after I get out of school, because there's no reason. I'd have something right there that I can turn to and just sit back on. The government's paying for these people's food and home while they do nothing to earn it. They are not producing anything to give back to the government, and that is definitely a problem. In the Constitution, it states that we are given the right to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. And nowhere in the Constitution does it say that we are entitled to a free food, a free home, and not getting all that without having to do any work. It's simply this tempts. If you were given everything that you have, like, why would you want to go work? If you were given food and a home without having to do anything about it, why would you want to go find a job? And to wrap it up, in no way in this debate is it being said that welfare should be gotten rid of or terminated completely, because it is understood that there are people out there who need it, whether they've been affected heavily by the economy, if they're a single parent that has a child and everything that needs to be taken care of, or if they're an elderly people and simply aren't physically capable of going out to find work anymore. Those are people that do need it. But these people who are living off of it and not looking for work and everything, those people aren't considered to be unemployed. Those people are considered to be lazy. And in the end, welfare should be treated as a way for people to get back on their feet and get back to producing for the economy and the country, instead of it being treated as a way of life, a way of living.
The government spends billions each year on various programs. Some of these expenditures help society and individuals directly, like welfare. Welfare provides financial aid and benefits to people in need. These programs empower the needy and less fortunate with a foundation to better their lives and meet minimum needs. Therefore, society and government should not make such programs stricter, as they help us all in the end. I am focusing my argument on single parents, the homeless, and how these programs help lower crime rate. Single parents who qualify for welfare programs utilize these services to help their family. Welfare assistance is not designed to pay for a family's total living expenses, but to help the family get back on their feet and create stability. According to the U.S. Census, 6 out of 10 children living with only one parent is at or below the poverty line, creating the need for financial assistance. For these families, depending on their situation, most states offer basic aids such as health care, food stamps, child care assistance, unemployment, cash aid, and housing assistance. Bethel tells the New York Times, "My country gave me the chance to rebuild my life." Bethel was a graduate dropout with no idea how she was going to provide for her child. After many failed attempts to get a job, Bethel decided to go back to college. By the end of the first semester, Bethel knew that her savings and work-study earnings wouldn't be enough to pay for her college loans, her apartment, and put food on the table. Bethel was below the poverty line and sliding. It seemed welfare was her only choice. With help, she finally graduated. 2 weeks later, Bethel was off welfare and an administrative job in the English department. Since then, Bethel has remarried, co-written books, worked as a magazine editor, and finally paid off her college loans. The homeless rely on welfare programs to meet certain basic necessities of survival and life. According to the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, homeless families are the fastest growing segment of the homeless population and account for more than 1/3 of the overall homelessness. Welfare provides many services such as housing, job training, mental health treatment, and parenting classes to create more stability. These programs are designed to guide families on the right path to recovery and teach them how to once again provide for themselves. These programs empower individuals and families to get beyond their current situation and into some form of shelter or housing. The U.S. crime rate is stabilized or lower by such welfare programs. In countries that do not have minimum welfare programs, people are more apt to find financial gains from the black market or crime. Humans need basics to survive, so items like food, water, shelter, safety, etc. Welfare programs empower or assist individuals in the ability to provide these services for themselves or their families. Look at any third world country. See how people look for basic necessities in life and how crime is rampant. Statistics show that in the state of Georgia, over a 10-year period, 71% of the program recipients came off welfare and were able to provide for themselves again. 2.9 million fewer children live in poverty today because of welfare programs. These facts further illustrate the importance of such programs. To create stricter rules and regulations on welfare programs would be detrimental to us all and would greatly hurt those who need it the most.
Okay, I just wanted to go over one thing before I started, and it's what Jake said about how people that are on welfare, they don't have to do anything in order to get the money. They have work requirements, they do community service, so that was false. Okay, you guys already know what welfare is, so I won't do that. Welfare is usually disliked because people are paying for welfare programs with their hard-earned money. But if we didn't have programs offered, the crime rates would increase to an all-time high. Crimes such as theft, drug use, and etc. would increase dramatically. People usually know the welfare program, TANF. The TANF program offers a cash grant to families each month for a period of up to 2 years and has work requirements, like I said earlier. What people do not understand is that you must be eligible to receive this privilege. One person who makes average income cannot just receive extra money for personal things such as drugs, alcohol, vacations, and etc. This program requires low income, and the amount of money you receive depends on how many children you have and the size of your family. You cannot abuse this program also because you are given a caretaker that has to check up on you. So it's really hard to abuse the program. Okay. Another widely known welfare program is food stamps. You cannot abuse the food stamp program because there are only specific things that you can buy at a grocery store. The food stamp program is very strict. You can only buy things you absolutely need. You are not cheating the government by making sure your family survives. So with food stamps, it's not like you can go into the store and buy whatever you want. Like you can't buy beer, you can barely even buy like shampoo or conditioner. Okay, I have one more thing. Okay, people don't want to spend money on the people who sometimes abuse the government, but our taxpayer is willing to pay more to ensure that it is not abused because it's going to cost a lot of money to have all of these people drug tested. So, just think about it.
I just wanted to ask if people are being checked up on, then how is it that fraud appears commonly in the income expenditure between costing the United States nearly $20 to $40 million a year out of welfare? Okay. In Texas, welfare users were given EBF electronic benefit transfer cards. The money is strictly to be used for food, clothing, and shelter, but records show thousands of dollars spent on non-essential. Many of these cards were used for tools of, can't do my handwriting. Over $2,000 at liquor stores was spent, and people abused their ABT cards and buy concert tickets, alcohol, liquor, and other drugs non-essential to human life.
Keep going.
Oh my gosh. Those living under the poverty line make $168 per day in food stamps, housing, childcare, healthcare, and more. This is equal to making $30 an hour for 40-hour weeks, off of essentially doing nothing.
Okay, are you ready?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. The cards, first of all, you're only given a certain amount of money put on the card. And there are requirements. You have to have like low. You have to have low income to get these cards. So, I mean, of course, there are people that are gonna abuse the government, but that is just life. But a lot of people, it's hard to abuse the government with cards and food stamps. You definitely cannot abuse food stamps. Anything?
No. That's all I got. Alright, so 34.2% of U.S. families are on welfare. In 2012, $452 billion was expected to be spent on welfare expenditures, $958 per family per month. How does that save us money and not cost us money on non-essential? Like, why should that still be used?
Well,
It's not.
the topic is, should welfare laws be stricter?
Yeah.
But by making it stricter, it would cost more money than that.
Okay.
So you're giving me numbers, but if you make them stricter, my numbers would be bigger. Anything else? Okay, hold on.
Okay, so if you're on welfare for 5 years, you can actually, or if you're on welfare for 5 years, you don't have to work for 4 years before they'll even contact you about any of that.
You only
So-
get it for 2 years.
Yeah, but I'm saying if you're on it for 5 years, you can work, or you can go without working for 4 years.
Yeah, you
before-
can go without working. I mean, but you still have work requirements. Like that means job training, community service. They make you look for a job. It's not like you're just random people are just getting money from the government. No, it's families, people that have children. The amount of money you get depends on how much money you make, how many kids you have. Okay, I'm done.
To conclude me and my fellow partners' argument for stricter laws in the welfare case, I would like to say that welfare is very commonly abused, and it promotes those who are on it to stay on it longer. And the government is very greatly overspending on it. Welfare is not fair to those who must pay the taxes to pay for those who are unwilling to work, so they can feed their 6 kids and not do anything. Welfare has been much more than just a short interval of time for somebody to get back on their feet from recently being fired, to more of an extended stay on a vacation with the government pretty much handing you anything you might need. It's become more and more just not working, and in 2012, over $451.9 billion were expected to be spent on welfare expenditures. And 2 to 3 of these people are said to abuse welfare. And that may not seem by a lot, but that's $13.5 billion spent on those who abuse welfare. Also, those who are on welfare, those who are on the AFCD, Aid to Families with Dependent Children, most of them, 26.9% of them, stay on it for 2 to 5 years, while the lowest being 7 months, only 19% spent that time on it. There are over 34.2% of the families in America are currently on welfare, while the expenditure gap, as my partner has previously said, has between $2,000 and $4,000 a year. Most people appear to spend more than made and don't typically qualify for welfare assistance. Total government spending, not including food stamps or unemployment, is $13.19 billion. Now, the total money you can supposedly earn on welfare is around $1,000, while many of these states, as everybody previously mentioned, make more than an average teacher.
Hello, my name is Jose Martinez. I would like to add on to what my group members had to say over our argument on not permitting welfare to become more strict. There have been many families over the years, thousands of them, that have been dependent on welfare. That to me says that welfare is a necessity in American families so that they can become financially stable. Why should welfare become more strict when it's already helping so many families become financially stable once again? The statistics have showed that 4,408,508 families have been cut down to 1,870,039 families from welfare. That's a 58% of families that are no longer on welfare. I agree that there's some things that have to be strict about welfare, but they have already been strict. Parents on welfare are required to work to maintain help from welfare, and these results have already hurt families. There's a case in Kansas City of a woman that has gone through 10 jobs already in her life. She has 4 kids, and the job that she has right now is working in a rehabilitation center, cleaning bathrooms and vacuuming floors for 25 hours a week. So that's not a lot. And Sherry Stiesel, from a welfare expert, says this about families like these that are struggling very hard, that they became the working poor. And that makes me think that making welfare stricter is going to increase the number of families that need welfare. And another result from making welfare more strict with having families work is that they don't gain any school. Single parents try to raise their child and go to school, but since they have to work, they have to give one of those up, and it's not going to be their child. They have to give up school and getting more opportunities for a better career. That means that they stay in poor paying jobs. And they say that they need to invest in better things. Isn't the American people a good investment? So that's pretty much all I have to say.
We want to thank you for joining us today for our panel discussion on whether or not welfare laws should be stricter. Thank you for watching.